Good evening from Washington, D.C., and thank you to those of you joining us from around the world for news from a Catholic perspective. I'm Lauren Ashburn. Tonight, we remember the 41st President of the United States. The remains of former President George H.W. Bush have arrived in Washington, D.C. His body will lie in state at the Capitol tomorrow, followed by a state funeral on Wednesday. He died Friday night in Houston at the age of 94. The death comes just 7 months after he lost his beloved wife, Barbara. Now, a look back at the former president's life and legacy. George Herbert Walker Bush was born in Milton, Massachusetts on June 12, 1924, the son of a future U.S. Senator. He married Barbara Pierce and had 6 children. 2 would follow his footsteps into public life, George Walker and Jeb. After earning a degree at Yale, the elder Bush moved his family to Texas, where he made a fortune in the oil business. There, his budding interest in Republican politics blossomed. Mr. Bush ran against Ronald Reagan in the 1980 GOP primaries before Reagan named him as his running mate. He was Reagan's heir apparent in 1988. As the nation's 41st president, he focused on international affairs. He presided over the collapse of communism in the former Soviet Union and the end of the Cold War. President Bush met twice with Pope John Paul II at the Vatican, including here in 1991, less than a year after the end of the Gulf War. Mary Kate Carey, a former speechwriter for Bush 41, remembers a plaque that was on the president's desk for years, made by a family friend. It was a quote from St. Francis.
It said, "Preach the gospel at all times, use words when necessary."
How beautiful.
And that really defines George and Barbara Bush's faith and the action type of faith that they had. The millions and millions of dollars they raised for charities, all the people that they took in, all the crazy, house guests and friends that would get dragged over there. And they always took everyone in with a big smile.
Matt Schlapp was political director for George W. Bush and recalls the relationship between Bush 43 and his father.
The one thing that is absolutely genuine, I will tell you, is that George W. Bush absolutely loved and revered his dad. And certainly his dad loves and reveres all of his children. But there's a special bond between that father who was a president and son was a president. We've only seen that one other time.
Mission complete. That's the caption for this touching photo of his service dog, Sully, next to the former president's casket. The Bush family's spokesman, Jim McGrath, shared it on Twitter yesterday with the hashtag #Remembering41.